Hello and welcome to this very special podcast by Vihav Group. Today we are going to talk about an upcoming project from our beautiful city of Vadodara. The name of the project is Vihav Claremont, and today I've been joined by a very renowned and principal architect of this beautiful project, Mr. Bhaskar Narula. Hello, sir.
Hi Ashish,
Welcome to this very special podcast.
thanks for
Uh,
having me.
so today, the entire design of Claremont, I recently visited over there. मैं वहाँ पर गया था and I've seen the pictures that you have created. So what was the basic idea of making this entire elevation or the design for Claremont?
The basic idea is nothing that I impose on any kind of a project. Uh, it kind of emerges. So it actually depends on the kind of shape and size the land parcel is, and you basically respond to that and the requirements that a client would come up with, as in what they want to build. So it's a mix of that kind of guides us, all architects, I guess, into what we design and what we come up with. So in this case, Kunal had this idea that we're going to make a really nice product, a really high-end product of a certain size.
Okay.
So size always plays a part in kind of trying to figure out what emerges, as I keep saying, emerges. So it's only a natural thing that depending on the size and the bylaws, of course, we try and figure out a configuration which works and which is, let's say, the need of the hour, or as a client would feel that, okay, if this is the product that they want to make in a certain ticket size, because ultimately everything is governed by the money that people have to spend.
Correct.
So kind of then the plans emerge, as in whether you have two buildings or one building, or a particular building has two units on a floor or more than two units on a floor. So Claremont was quite straightforward. In fact, it was slightly simple because the size was something that was quite extravagant and large. And we came up with the calculations first to figure out that, okay, only two buildings are possible, only two units per floor is possible, which actually kind of straightened out the entire configuration, that there would be one building in the front, one in the back, because the shape of the land parcel is such that you can only arrange the buildings in a certain configuration.
Yeah.
What actually emerged out of that simple figuring out was that each block would have two units, one unit facing the main road, the other unit facing the common plot area,
Correct.
the green space, the open part. And similarly, the other building would also have one unit facing the green open space in the center. The backside of the land parcel, we were lucky that there was another road.
Correct.
So then you have 4 units on each floor in the entire project, where 2 units face the green space and 2 units face the road. So everybody gets something. So that made it simple.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it
That's
emerged.
it. So most of the architects, I believe, as a layman in real estate, they work more towards the aesthetics and lesser in terms of functionality.
Is it?
Do you think that's a myth, or everything has to be like perfectly balanced, as it is in the case of Claremont?
Uh, I think it is a myth. I don't think people can afford, like architects or developers can afford to not address the functional issues, because a lot of money goes into these things, and there's a lot of challenge in terms of what sells and what doesn't. So everybody has to be very sharp, and they have to be on their toes to kind of know the pulse of the people who are looking for things to buy. So I don't think you can overlook the practicality of a plan. It has to bloody work. If it doesn't, it's a risk that the developer is taking. I don't think people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, so you do things keeping your sense, I mean, with your sensibilities. So that tends to vary, of course. But people do put in their mind.
There's certain amount of global element when I see the overall elevation for Claremont.
Okay.
Do you always keep that thing in mind that I'm making this project in the city of Vadodara? So do you, at this point of time when the trends are changing so drastically, what Vadodara was 5 years back and what it is and probably what it would be in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be very very different. So do you keep that thing in mind कि नहीं यार ultimately तो मुझे वडोदरा शहर के लिए करना है, this is not a Mumbai or probably a Bangalore, so all these things do keep in the overall structure.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is there in the mind all the time when we start thinking of how a particular building is going to look in terms of its look and feel, in terms of its facade and the elevations. But uh, so there is, it's a multifold kind of a thing. So there is always a certain target. Let's say, at least in my case, I'm always wanting to achieve a few things which would be slightly different or slightly better, or let's say the next step compared to what I've done in the past. So it's always, I mean, unless you are trying to improve, you're stagnating. I mean, I don't want to do that. But you have to keep the context in mind. Baroda being the kind of city it is, it has a certain heritage value and a certain demure-ness about it, a certain academic bit also, I feel. But certainly the history is always in mind. Like Ahmedabad is slightly more cosmopolitan, or slightly more, not cosmopolitan, but it's more, let's say, flamboyant with the kind of money it has.
Yeah.
And the people are slightly more gregarious and things. Baroda is culturally, I think, sounder, if I may say that. I find it slightly softer.
Yeah.
People are not as show-offy.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think the buildings also kind of reflect that, at least in my effort. So they are simple looking, straightforward, not trying to
Too
outdo
much
the next
louder.
door guy. And I think that's also a feel that I get from Kunal. And he also is of a similar viewpoint, and I think that is why I have enjoyed working with him. So
I think overall the taste is improving with so much of corporate influx in the city. I think that feel is also, and I whenever I meet Kunal sir, I always say that you are one of those international cuisines that everyone wants to have that taste, but you are not a Gujarati thali for sure. So I always give him that kind of a compliment that people
Yeah.
are going to be very very classy when they come to Vihav. And coming back to Claremont, I guess what has been your experience, because you have worked with Kunal sir and Vihav Group previously, और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो आर्किटेक्ट होता है वो कहीं ना कहीं ही इज़ द कैप्टन ऑफ द शिप, ओके, बट कितना इंटरफियरेंस होता है डेवलपर का, कितने आर्ग्यूमेंट्स होते हैं, कितने डिबेट्स होते हैं, कितना एक दूसरे के आप लोग बाल खींचते हैं बिहाइंड द डोर्स, वो भी मुझे थोड़ी स्टोरी जाननी थी.
नहीं, बिल्कुल खींचते हैं और खिंचवाते भी हैं. और कुणाल के साथ हमेशा बहस होती है, हेल्दी बहस होती है. मज़ा आता है. आई थिंक दैट्स समथिंग दैट आई हैव रियली एंजॉयड, एंड he always lets me have the last word about things, more or less, most of the time. And he keeps that respect also, I must say. I have enjoyed my time with him. I have, and with the group. I mean, he has a good team also with him, with a lot of people who work with him, and I have always enjoyed. I personally feel कि हम शायद better कर सकते हैं, और भी better कर सकते हैं.
Scope of
कहीं ना कहीं
improvement,
हमको
scope
लगता है कि कभी-कभी we miss out on certain things. But overall, it's been great, and it's been now, I think, almost 10 years or probably more.
Yeah.
And this is probably your 18th or 19th project. Fun. A lot of fun.
So Claremont is in a very, very initial stage. It's on the foundation level. As an architect, if you have to give a message to the end user who's planning to buy a property like that, what is better, that you get it closed at a very initial stage, or you just wait for the development to happen? What is your advice?
I mean, that would not be specific to Claremont because the sooner you get into a project, the better deals are probably easier to get. So that goes without saying. It holds true for any kind of project that you get into it early and you get good, better rates. But and with Claremont, as in most of what I work on, I think what I keep in mind most of the times, or really upfront, is that any person who's putting his money into what I have designed should get more than the value
Correct.
of the money that he spends. And I think uh, with Kunal that becomes easier because he also puts in a lot of effort, and the kind of specifications and the kind of quality of execution and everything that they want to do and achieve always adds that extra value to the products they're doing. But that's my approach also, and that's why we gel also very well, and we are I think doing some good work.
Sure. So you have such a strong legacy of doing so many projects across Gujarat and probably even other cities. How do you learn about the changes in the overall trends of architecture? How do you keep your thought process very fresh? कि यार ये चीज़ मैंने नहीं देखी. This is something that I would love to do. How do you keep on updating yourself in terms of the study?
We travel
Yeah.
and look at things. You look and learn from everything around. There are a lot of people who are doing good work. Ahmedabad, around. Uh, any place you go, you see things and you kind of figure out that, okay, there are other ways to do things. And you try and change bit by bit and incorporate good ideas, come up with some. You can't come up with absolute new ideas all the time. So, what I tend to do is try and achieve something special in each project. I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I don't think that is possible. But even if I have kind of moved up and moved ahead with an idea or two or three in from one project to the other, and that's a bit of an achievement. I'm happy about that. That's I mean, so it's a work in progress all the time that you keep improving from project to project and kind of find new ways to do things by looking around and keeping your eyes open, and it's a continuous learning process. You're always a student.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just two more questions, sir. You have worked previously with Vihav. Which has been your favorite baby with Vihav?
I That's a difficult one.
I
No,
thought that I should
I
put you
love
in a
them
box.
all. I love them all. I love them all, and I think, as I said, the previous whatever you were asking me previously, that every project is is adding something, and we are making that bit of progress. As in, पिछले वाला से अब
क्या
हमने
better कर
ज़्यादा
सकते
अच्छा किया. So I think one better than the other.
Sure. And the final question is like, what legacy or would Bhaskar Narula would like to leave as an architect? And secondly, of all the budding architects, I know that you were using certain terms which I cannot, in a way, say. But what is the one message that you want to say to the budding architects who is just starting at his career point? Like, don't be flexible in certain philosophies or work ethos. What would that be as per Bhaskar Narula?
No, I think it is not a question of don't be flexible. I don't think you should not be flexible. In fact, uh, that could be an asset, and at times you need to be, and at times that is that ends up being the mantra to success because times don't remain the same. Things change. Like presently, the markets is kind of slowing down. So if you have kind of figured out a land parcel and you want to buy, you want to propose a project and figure out a certain kind of ticket size, let's say for example, or size, it might be true for the moment when you buy the land parcel, but 6 months down the line, till the time you're getting your plans cleared out and your land cleared out, market may have changed and you might need to be flexible. So if you've designed something already and then you need to kind of figure out and go back, take a couple of steps back and, relook at certain things, tends to happen all the time. So I don't think rigidity of ideas is ever going to
Help.
help as much. But yes, certain design philosophies, certain ways of working, certain compromises in terms of refinement, finesse, uh, can't be crossed. So certain lines can't be crossed. So there is a certain benchmark that you have to establish for oneself, and but then each to their own. Yeah, I don't know, what kind
Every
of
individual.
background that somebody comes from. So I can't tell for somebody else, but uh, you should have a set of principles. You should have a set of guidelines कि okay, ये तो करना ही है, ये तो achieve करना ही है, इतना तो करना ही है,
Certain
and then
timelines.
go accordingly.
This question was not there originally when I thought about, but I think that because I have the opportunity, I should ask you. कभी ऐसा हुआ है कोई project में in Vihav or otherwise where you have designed everything, you have the structure is there on paper, but when it's actually executed, it's looking all the more beautiful than you eventually or
Earlier had
thought earlier
imagined.
thought about.
Happens, yes, of course it happens. कभी कभी कुछ कुछ चीज़ें बदल देने से सुधर जाता है. कभी ऐसा भी हुआ है कि बदल देने से मैंने बाद में आई हैव रियलाइज दैट आई शुडंट हैव डन इट, एंड फॉर वट एवर रीज़न आई मस्ट हैव रिलेंटेड कि यार अच्छा ठीक है चलो ऐसा नहीं करने तो मत करो, जैसा तुम बोल रहे हो वैसा कर लेंगे. एंड समटाइम्स इट हैज़ वर्कड इन फेवर ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट, certain other times it hasn't. So there are all kinds of, now it's been such a long time that I have ended up having all kinds of experiences. So sometimes positive, yes, at other times not so
Not
positive.
supposed. Bhaskar Narula, pleasure talking to you. I
Thank you.
wish you all the very best, and I hope
Thank you.
that Vihav's Claremont becomes one of the most landmark projects and places from our beautiful city of Vadodara. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.